Hello, a very good evening to all of you. I'm Bishop James and this is my wife,
Elena. Hi, everybody.
We are here as usual every Thursday to bless your life, to talk about relationships. And today we're going to talk about how you can make a great thing out of your love life, even if you're starting from a negative standpoint. Sometimes you start from zero, but there are times you feel like you're starting from minus that point, from a negative point. We're going to talk to you more about this. Let's listen to a beautiful song. We'll come back in just a moment.
If you remember me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish. This is to my Father's glory that you bear so much fruit, showing yourself to be my disciples. If you remember me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish. This is to my Father's glory that you bear so much fruit, showing yourself to be my disciples. I am the vine, you are the branches, remain in me and bear much fruit. I am the vine, you are the branches, remain in me and bear much fruit. If you remember me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish. This is to my Father's glory that you bear so much fruit, showing yourself to be my disciples. If you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish. This is to my Father's glory that you bear so much fruit, showing yourself to be my disciples. I am the vine and you are the branches, remain in me and bear much fruit. I am the vine and you are the branches, remain in me and bear much fruit. If you remember me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish. This is to my Father's glory that you bear so much fruit, showing yourself to be my disciples. If you remember me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish. This is to my Father's glory that you bear so much fruit, showing yourself to be my disciples. If you remember me and my words remain in you, you bear so much fruit. Showing yourself to be my disciple.
Welcome back. You know, we spent, I think, more than 4 years doing relationship seminars in the UK, right? More than 4 years?
Yeah, around that.
And
Plus counseling sessions. Yeah.
one of the things we saw people coming to talk to us the most about was about the fact that they were starting or trying to start their relationship from negative standpoints. Many of them would say to us, look, how can I have a happy relationship when I've been abused? How can I have a happy relationship when I'm single and I've got 2, 3 children? Who's gonna want me? How? And more examples like this. And when I've been divorced once, twice, when people have this kind of mentality, it seems very difficult indeed from a normal point of view how this person can be happy, because it seems like they are starting from a negative standpoint. That's how many people think.
Yes, because, you know, that person is involved in her own problems, in her own idea of what her life is like at that moment. So that's all the person can see. And we are here to help you see from a different perspective. We are outside, so we can look at you and we can help you see your own potential, because it's normal that the person is in her own, you know, she's in her own skin. She just got divorced. Maybe it's the second divorce or third divorce. And then it's so much letting down, so much hurt that you think, you know, who is gonna want me now? And is there anyone out there that is really, really good and genuine? I think I'm going to give up. So this is how the person sees, because she's in that situation. But it's not like that. We're going to help you see from a different perspective.
But you know the great thing? The great thing is that it has to be like that. You have to start. It's great that you're starting from a point like that. Here's why. Because if you started from a point where everything was great, then where's the glory for God in that? Because you were doing great by yourself. But when you take someone that on paper has no chances of making it, no chances of finding happiness, and then that person finds happiness because of the help that God provided, that's where the testimony is. So if you find yourself, you know, saying, look, Bishop, I'm single, I've got 3 children, I've had a divorce, who's gonna want me? You know, on paper, it seems like your situation is more difficult, but we have testimonies in the Succeeding Life Center, in the UCKG, of people in your situation who today are happily married. And that's where the power of God comes in. You know, the Word of God says that He chooses the foolish things of this world. He chooses the small things of this world to make them great. So when you take a person who's been divorced twice, a person who apparently has no chance of being happy in their love life, and then you show this person that it's possible, they're starting from a negative standpoint. But when you see that that doesn't matter for God, then you start to understand that God is not limited by these things. He has no, we are limited, but He's not.
You know, it's very interesting because many people see it as a negative thing. You know, I've had many relationships. Of course, ideally, you would get it right the first time. Pardon me, but it's not always the case. And people who are in this situation, they tend to think that they are the only ones in that situation. And it's not true. Many people don't get it right the first, the second, the third time, or even more. So you have quite a few things to your advantage that many people don't have. For example, you've been in many relationships, you had different problems, maybe one was abusive, the other one was not a faithful relationship, whatever. Now you know what to not look for in a person. Now you know what you should be careful with. You see, not everyone comes from a background where they learn these things at home or they see these things in their own family. You know, a loving family, your parents were very loving towards each other, very faithful and all that. Many people don't have that, didn't have that. So you have to figure things out as you go along. And God shows you that for Him there are no impossibles. And you know something? Another good thing about that situation that the person is in is that now she knows she can't do it on her own. And this is when you let God show you that He is God. We know so many people, and we know so many people who really, even us looking at the situation, who was like, wow, how did you get yourself in so much trouble? But now they are happily married. Now they started a new life, and when we talk to them now, they are like, I never ever dreamed that I would be so happy.
And you know, here's the biggest problem of you thinking that there's no chance of you being happy. The biggest problem of you thinking like this is that you are what you think. People see you as you see yourself. So if you see yourself as someone who has nothing to offer, as someone who no one will want, that's exactly what people will see. That's the problem. You're like a mirror. You put out, people see you the way that you see yourself. If you see yourself as a person with no confidence, who has nothing to offer, that's what people will see. So the first thing that has to change is for you to stop looking at yourself as someone that nobody wants, as used goods, as something that has been thrown away. Stop looking at yourself like that. The men, the women that God used in the past, they were people like this, people that nobody thought they had a chance, yet that was the person God chose, the smallest. Look at David, the greatest king that Israel ever had, and he wasn't even considered to be king by the prophet Samuel. So stop looking at yourself like that. Invest in your value, invest in you as a man, as a woman, and stop complaining about what you don't have. Today we want to show you two testimonies so that you can see that if God changed the life of these people, He can change yours. Let's watch one testimony. We'll be right back.
I started to drink at the age of 7 years old. I was introduced to alcohol by my parents. My father was addicted to alcohol, and he has been killed because of the alcohol. And I was going through the same pathway because I was becoming very aggressive. At the beginning, I used to drink to become happy, and then in the future I started to drink to forget about problems in the relationships, because I had many broken relationships. Because I was a difficult woman, I was always drunk. I used to feel so depressed and thinking to go out to drink more to have some relief. I used to feel like I was flying out of my body on happiness when the alcohol was gone. I was willing to be alone in my bedroom and drink more. Everybody thought that I was the most happy woman in the world because I was telling good things to people. Inside of me I was destroyed because at the end I had no friends anymore. I had no one to look after me because I left my family when I went to university. I was living in a beautiful flat in my country with a brand new car, but I was alone and I was depressed. The draw the line was that I tried to kill my mother when I was drunk with a knife, and my sister punched me a lot, and I tried to kill as well a policeman. I used to try to steal boyfriends of my colleagues when I was drunk. I destroyed many relationships. And then it happened many times, many times. At the end I was alone and drunk. My sister told me, because at that time I was living next to a UCKG center in another country in Brazil, and had many other churches, and she suggested me to go to UCKG. I started to come on Fridays, and then the process of deliverance started, because I started to destroy relationships. I stopped drinking. I started to looking for serious relationship. Because of this problem, I even got a STI. As a doctor, it's a humiliation, because if you tell your client that you should care about yourself, don't have any STI, how can you have a chlamydia? Because I was drunk and they used my body. I was destroyed. I was on the floor. I was starting to think about killing myself. And 2 weeks that I was in the church, I met my husband, and he told me, you need to keep going to this place and stop drinking. If you do that, you can get married, because I was already 38 years old. 1 year I was in the church, I was married. 1 year. 6 months engaged, 1 year married, and I came to UK to get married. I went to Brazil again to organize my business. And then my husband, okay, now you are ready to move, to live with me in the UK. I have my own business. I have a small clinic in Hampstead. I have my own clients. My husband is a blessing. We have a very good relationship, always together, and creating new things to do in life. My family, they are in Brazil, but we have a good connection now. I don't think bad things about my mother, or I talk to her almost every day. My spiritual life, it's very good. Of course, we have problems. Everybody has, but you need to keep fighting. This is the secret.
That's one example of someone who was small, but things changed, right?
Absolutely. So beautiful. You know, when I watch these testimonies, we call it testimonies, but for people who are watching us who don't know what that means, is real life change stories. These are not edited, like, oh, you know, say this. It's not scripted. These are real life stories. You couldn't get any
What do
real-
you have to say about what we said before the testimony about the person being a mirror?
My dear, this one is for the stubborn ones out there that say, oh, you know, I went through a lot in life, so I know what I'm doing. You know nothing about life, sir. You know, people who say, no, I can easily pretend no one sees my hurt. I'm a confident person. No, you are not. Because you will sooner or later act on your thoughts. You will see, maybe you walk around very confidently, you go to work, you look powerful, empowered, like they like to say it these days. You know, you don't you don't trust everybody like you used to and everything, but you show that you are friendly and everything. You pretend to be okay. But when you start getting to know a potential new partner, then your true colors will show.
The person becomes transparent in that time, and then the real reality of who they are comes up.
Yes, everything you were trying to hide all that time will come back, because guess what? You will be in a situation you've been before, and what is hidden is still there. And if you don't have God's help to help you overcome what you went through, you will always go back to doing what you deep down think you are and believe. And this is why you can't find someone to be with.
So, what do I do? I'm watching this program, maybe you ask, what do I do? I like what you said. I know I'm that kind of person. I'm the smallest. When I say you're the smallest, I mean perhaps you see yourself as the least having a chance of being happy, of getting married, of keeping a marriage, of you think nobody will want you. Maybe you say, so what do I do? Okay, the solution is that instead of you searching desperately to find someone, the solution is for you to invest in increasing your value. It's like a house. When you buy a house, if a house is worth $200,000, that's the value. If you build an additional floor to that house on top, the value will go from 200,000 to 300,000. That's what happens to people. You may see yourself as a person of little value, but if you invest in yourself, you change the way that you see yourself, you increase your value, then you become a lot more desirable. Not physically, but because of the person that you are. Okay? Let's watch another real life story. We'll come back to have one question. Today we can only have time for one question, and we'll be right back.
it was impossible for me to settle down with one person. And I started a relationship, I was very young, I was 16 years old. My relationship went on for 8 years and would break down and go back. During that period, I have a daughter when I was 20 years old. Got married for wrong reasons and didn't work. So after I broke up with my ex-wife, a few months later I met another person that we started having the relationship, and she's brought me to England. So after 3 years, the relation was cold, it didn't work. I was cheating on her, I was doing all things wrong, doing my will, and I didn't respect her. So the relationship didn't work for me. I broke up and I moved on to another relationship. But this time I was faithful, I started changing my character. So I used to work hard for this person, and things for me was well. I had a child with her, but a few years later things didn't work. She broke up with me, where I was so depressed because the child, I didn't expect that, and it was the only person I really sacrificed my life for. I found someone after a year and a half, working on myself first, coming to the church, listen to the word of God, learning and make the change that I need to for myself first. And I didn't want to make another mistake. And finally, God put someone in my life that's been working very well. But today, finally, I found the right person, and she's faithful to God and to me, and we're doing very well, and we're very happy together. Married life, new life, everything is new, because God makes everything new.
Welcome back. So today we showed you 2 testimonies so that you don't think that these are coincidences. And we're going to answer a question now, a common question. Even though this week we didn't receive any question on the comment section, and I want to encourage you to, any questions you have, leave it on the comments below, or you can send it to us privately so that you don't feel that you need to expose your question to people, okay? One of the things we used to see a lot dealing with couples in the UK is people use this word harmless flirting, innocent flirting. People at work, they flirt at work. People who do sales, they flirt to do sales. Yeah. So I'm a salesman, I'm married, I'm meeting with a client, and then I start to do this a lot. Oh. Well, I start to say, oh, your hair looks so nice, or your eyes look so beautiful. But I'm married, I'm a salesman. And then people say, well, but listen, it's harmless flirting so I can get a sale. You're working away from your partner, because you're alone for a while, you flirt with people on Facebook, on WhatsApp. This is not harmless. This is very dangerous.
Yes. And, this is terrible. People, they just always find excuses to doing what's wrong. But in a way, for them not to feel, a guilty conscience, so they give it funny names, harmless flirting. What's the problem with that? Well, the problem is, imagine if someone is doing that with your partner, how would you feel? Would you think it's harmless? I mean, it's a matter of intelligence. You see, I think many people these days, they just follow what everyone does, but they don't think for themselves. I'm sorry, but this is true. Everyone does it, so it's okay to do it. Hold on a second. Flirting is to me the same thing as betraying your partner.
It's cheating.
It's cheating. Oh, but we are not sexually involved. It doesn't matter. You are disrespecting your partner.
Yeah.
That for me, and sorry, one more thing. I have spoken to people who were victims of that. Oh, my husband likes to flirt, but it's his personality. You know why they say that? Because they are so hurt, and the partner is so disrespectful that they actually convince the other partner that it's okay, it's harmless. No, it's not okay.
It's like, when you watch on the Discovery Channel, the Nature Channel, these little lions, when they are babies, they look super cute. You want to hug them, you want to pet them. So they look harmless, and they are harmless at that stage. But that little lion is going to grow up to be a killer. And if you keep it around, it's going to hurt you. And that's flirting. Whatever starts as harmless eventually moves on to be a killer, a destroyer of marriages. So there is no such thing as harmless flirting. Respect yourself, respect your partner. If I'm a salesman, I'm sitting too close here. I should have been sitting on the other side of the table there, right? And if you want to sell, you sell based on your integrity and your product. No need to touch hands and flatter the person how beautiful they are. That's flirting. So let's finalize the program today. If you really want to, regardless of your situation, whether you're starting from zero, from scratch, or in your mind from minus, you see yourself as a person that nobody will want because of who I am, because of what I've been through in life, because of your past. Remember that God chose the most insignificant people, apparently, in people's eyes, to make them the greatest. And He wants to do the same with your love life. Don't look at, never despise the little things, the small things. Because the small things today can become great and mighty tomorrow. Invest in yourself, not invest in searching for someone immediately. It's invest in yourself, and automatically that will give place to a new person, you, and when you meet someone, that will come across.
Absolutely. And if you are someone who attends the help center, the church, you hear messages that are life-changing. So stop feeling pity. Stop living in the pity world. You have everything you need to change, to overcome, because our Lord is a healer. So sometimes, James, people, they hold on to their hurt because it's safe. It's a good excuse for them not overcoming now. Time has passed and they still are stuck to that problem. It's time to let go. And if you have never visited our help center, our church, we call it help center because it is a real help center, then here is our invitation. We are in many countries. If you want to know which one is closest to your house, let us know, send us a message, because here you will learn how to solve your problems, how you can start a new life.
In your screen right now, you can see the image of the card of the Day of Divine Help, which will happen this Sunday in all our centers all over Asia and Oceania. You are our guest. We're sure that if you come, even if you see yourself as someone who is insignificant, our God can make you great. And the same thing goes for your relationship, okay? It was a pleasure being here with you. Enjoy now the program Miracles Can Happen.
I lift my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the Creator of heaven and earth. How many times have you looked around for help and you didn't know what to do or who could help you? Sometimes only divine help can change things. Sunday, 18th November at 10 a.m., the only one who can truly change your life will be waiting for you.